Well, first, I kind of want to tell you when it's a good idea and why people do it. Because putting your spouse on payroll, even if they are working in the business, is only going to cost you more money in payroll taxes. So again, that isn't legal advice whether you want to or whether you don't want to. It's just you're going to pay more in payroll taxes. So why is it sometimes a good idea? It's a good idea if you plan on basically taking all of the money you're going to pay your spouse and putting it to a 401k or another retirement. So let's say you have a 401k and you put yourself on payroll and you're already maxing out your 401k, but you want to put away more money. Then finding a reason to put your spouse on payroll so that they can max out their 401k can, if you're under the right circumstances, save you more money than it costs you in payroll taxes. So if you're in a high tax bracket and you're already maxing out your 401k or retirement plan and you want your spouse to also do more, let's find a reason to put them on payroll so that they can then start contributing to a retirement plan. The government knows these types of strategies, and so they want to make sure that you're not just abusing them. And so when you put your spouse on payroll, find a good reason, but honestly, it can be as simple as a consultant, because that's as vague and as generic as it gets, and consultants can be paid anything from $30 an hour to $3,000 an hour. So, of course, the IRS is going to look at substance over form. So, is your spouse actually worth $3,000 an hour? What type of advice are they giving you? It's important to document it, make it reasonable, but consulting is pretty generic, pretty easy to do. And if you're like most entrepreneurs, you're probably talking about work quite a bit, and your spouse probably has some opinions that they're sharing with you, so let's go ahead and pay them for it. They're looking for reasonableness. Are you paying, especially when it comes to paying your kids? Oh man, that's the best. When you're paying your spouse, they're in the same tax bracket as you. You're probably married, filing joint. You're just paying more in payroll taxes. But when you pay your kids, they have a different tax return. Even if you're claiming them, they have a different tax return. And they're probably in the 0 to 10 to 12, 0, 10, 12, or 22% tax bracket. And that's probably less than what your tax bracket is. So that is where the real benefit comes from, but that's where the real scrutiny is going to come from. Because if you're paying your kid $100,000 just so that it's taxed at 22% instead of your 37%, then the IRS is going to say, why was this kid actually worth $100,000 or $10,000 or $15,000, whatever it is, right? So the first $15,000 is basically tax-free to the kid, federal income tax-free, and it might even be FICA, free of FICA taxes as well if we structure it correctly. So that's where you could actually pay your kid $15,000 and there's zero tax consequence. So how do you justify that? Well, number one, you got to take into consideration child labor laws. Federal child labor laws are generally more relaxed than state labor laws, and so you got to be conscientious of your state labor laws. Make sure that you can hire kids. What can you hire them to do? Being a model is something that's awesome because that is of all ages. But you can't just say, I'm a real estate agent, so I'm going to pay my model 3-year-old $15,000 a year because it makes me a better real estate agent. You got to say, these are the advertisements I'm using my child in. This is the comparable price that I would pay a model child, and show some research that you did your research. We want to err on the side that's most favorable to you, obviously, so let's do the research. Let's document how we came up with those numbers so that when they ask, we can show them that it wasn't just a made up number so that we could avoid taxes. Yeah, is it actually work that has to be done? And if you were going to pay somebody else to do it, not your own kid, how much would you pay to have it done? And that is we document that, that's the easiest way to show the IRS that we've taken the necessary precautions and to substantiate how much we've paid them. So the documentation should be, let's look at what you would have to pay somebody else, not your kid, to do that same job, whether it's janitorial, administrative, modeling. How much would it cost you to find an unrelated party, somebody else's kid, and pay them to do that job or that modeling? And and that's how much we can pay your kid and justify it. Yeah, so ideally, done right, it's easiest, you want to make it as easy for the IRS auditor as possible. So foolproof, well, I mean, not foolproof, but like the easiest thing is for the IRS to follow the money. So if you actually set up a business bank account, so if you actually set up a bank account for your kid and you have the business bank account move money from the business bank account to your kid's bank account, that is easy for an IRS auditor to follow, right? So what happens when you say, okay, I want to take advantage of this, but I don't actually have an extra $15,000 to give my kid, but I pay for their clothes, I pay for their food, I pay for their extracurricular activities. Well, that's when I say, well, how about you have your kids work for you and they pay for their own extracurricular activities, their own food, their own clothes, right? First off, it teaches them how to budget early on. It's a great learning principle. It teaches them to work for their things that they want, and it gives you tax savings. Like if you're probably spending $15,000 on your kids easily on soccer and gasoline and whatever else, car payments. So instead of having that come out of your bank account, pay your kids and have it come out of their bank account. And then all of a sudden you're saving 22%, 37%, whatever it is, whatever tax bracket you're in. It's like getting a 37% discount on everything that you're paying for your kid. That'd be a pretty sweet discount.